Welcome to the Los Angeles Tribune page. Here you will find original news programming, exclusive digital events, and shows that are directly from the community. At the Los Angeles Tribune, we believe in giving a voice to the voiceless. We are proud to be the only national brand to empower everyday people to make a difference. Since 1886, our reputation has been built on truth and responsibility. Thank you for watching and making a difference.
For general inquiries, contact today. Thank you on behalf of the Los Angeles Tribune team.
Welcome to the Los Angeles Tribune page. Here you will find original news programming.
Alrighty, guys, and welcome to this awesome live broadcast that we are doing, discussing.
Like going into a time machine. Look at that classic clip that the producer played. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are live and direct from LA, and you know this is a live program. And Parisa, I'm excited, I'm pumped up because today's a special day with a special program for multiple different reasons. First of all, we're very honored to have a pop icon, a living legend, to discuss his story and also the movie that has really generated so much hype around the world as well as here in Los Angeles. And we're going to make an announcement about that film here in a few minutes. But Parisa, to kick it off, how excited are you about today's program?
Well, I think you know of all people how excited I am and how much I've been messaging you since we announced we were doing this. I am so excited. I've been like deep diving into all things Milli Vanilli, and I am so excited for today. Like literally, I've got pages of notes ready to go per usual, but still, really, I'm so excited. And
well, I'm excited. I know you're gonna take the lead today in the conversation. And Milli Vanilli is a fascinating story. You know, it was a little when Milli Vanilli was at the height. It was a little bit before my time, but I actually discovered Milli Vanilli as a child when I watched the VH1 Behind the Music, which came out a few years after. And so I became a fan of Milli Vanilli watching VH1 Behind the Music. And I'm like, what's the big deal here? You know, and what's fascinating, Parisa, before we bring on Fab Morvan in about a minute, what's fascinating is I've discovered that today, when you bring up Milli Vanilli, it's one of the most beloved groups. People love Milli Vanilli. I don't know one person that has anything negative to say about Milli Vanilli today, even though they faced so much backlash. And I'm excited because we're going to have about 30 to 45 minutes today with Fab, and we're going to discuss his perspective of Milli Vanilli, and then we're going to talk about this movie. And Parisa, when I watched that movie, first of all, I've been waiting for that film to come out for a while, right? We've been hearing rumblings of a Milli Vanilli movie for a while. So when it came out, I was excited. And then I couldn't find it anywhere in America for a few months. And then when it finally came out, I watched it, and I watched it twice. And I shared it with our editorial team. And our editorial team decided to name the film the movie of the year here at the LA Tribune. And I think it's well-deserved. And we'll definitely talk about the film and talk about the details of the movie. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and bring on Fab to the stage. Fab, welcome to the Los Angeles Tribune.
How you doing, guys? Parisa, you know, I was born in Paris. My son is called Paris.
oh
Mo,
my
I'm
goodness.
sorry, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
All good.
I love the connection.
that's right. Parisa is going to take the lead. And listen, it's a pleasure and an honor to be here today because, you know, we're going to go down my time machine. But it took so much energy and strength and resilience and focus in order to remain on this journey without knowing really where would it be. But I've learned, I read one thing once. It said, uncertainty is a fertile ground for creativity. So that being said, I followed and nurtured my creativity. The rest, you know, it was like, okay, this is what I do. but I know that creativity is at the core of everything. So I'm a survivor because of my creativity. I'm a survivor because music came into my life and healed me and gave me the strength and confidence to keep on believing my original dream.
That is so good. So I would love to start off with this. It's a line from the movie.
Okay.
However, it's really a moment for you to really share, I think, some of the beauty and the nuance of
Right.
the Milli Vanilli journey and the clarity of some of these pieces. So, in the very beginning of the film, Millie says that it's after a conversation before you guys are signing contracts and all of that. And
Right.
she says something along the lines of, like there's a lot of illusion in this business. And the word illusion is brought and threaded all throughout the film so beautifully. By the way, I'm
Yes.
a massive fan of this film. Just
Thank
the
you.
way it shared the story of triumph, of excitement, of all of the human experiences was just so beautiful. And so this word illusion was really present all throughout the film. Now, taking it outside of the film, there's one thing that's an illusion, which is what a lot of the people I feel are have believed the story to be. And a lot of the story or a lot of the truth could have been an illusion at one point. And bringing that
Right.
illusion to reality, where would you feel the story is now? The journey is now for you, but
Well,
also for Milli Vanilli, the story.
well, I'm not solely responsible for doing that, but I definitely had a big part in rehabilitating the name Milli Vanilli, the meaning of the name Milli Vanilli, because my mission was always to say, you know what, one day I'm going to turn the meaning of the name Milli Vanilli to when you fall, you stand back up and you reinvent yourself. That's what you got to do, and it's a basic rule in life. Early, like after some years, I started to realize that this story, it was not all about me. With this story, I could inspire other artists. I could inspire people, to discover themselves. So I say great stories are here to connect us to our humanity and to know better about who we are as human beings. In the past years, we've noticed that humanity has been living the building, and it's caused by the world changing, people being more cold, being more selfish, and like support thy neighbor. It's kind of going out the door. So I say to myself during COVID, people ask me like, how do you stay so focused? Like, how do you do that after everything that was done to you? And I said, listen, you know a few people came into my life and helped me, but after that, just like a quarterback, I'm the one that's got to pa pa, that got to go left, right to go into that touchdown. I can get the ball, but you got to do it yourself. Unfortunately, Rob was not able to even receive that ball in his arm of hope, if I can say, because his heart was broken. So I said his heart, he died of a broken heart because of what they put us through. The bullying was at an all-time high. And today, it's funny because I made a post a few days ago because I see some of those ignoramus here and there, who've been drinking the Kool-Aid, and sometimes you get fed something, but now we have the ability to do research. And the one thing that bothered me back in the days, because this old narrative, took over almost 30 years to rewrite, is because as a journalist, there's an oath that's being taken. But during the press conference, I don't know what type of journalists they were, opportunistic, wanting to be famous, but journalists are here in the first frontier to protect humanity and society. And they didn't investigate the true players, the gatekeepers. So
Mhm.
what they did, essentially, we were used as scapegoats, and I had to live my life with that, with the narrative, but stay calm and say, you know what? It's like this in life. people they will want to hang out with you, stay close to you when they see that you are worth something. How do you get to being worth something? Hard work. Simple. So I'm trying to bring that to my to my I don't like to use fans or followers because we're part of the Fab Milli family, you know? And I wish everyone to strive to live their best life, you know?
Right.
I'm not bitter because I've learned, hey, forgive others, forgive the ones who abuse you, who use you. Because if you keep in that realm, you won't get out and you will go in circle. Pobrecito, poor me. Oh my God, what he did to me. No, what I did, I was proactive. It took some time to like realize, hey, this is the exit to what I'm feeling. But
Mm-hmm.
music was also healing to answer some of your
Yeah.
questions and leading you down my my emotional journey because I had to acquire emotional intelligence, you know, to get to this point. Once I understood that it was there and I could access it,
Right.
then a brand new door opened up. And also as a human being, but also as an artist, I was able to embrace all that. I'm a father of four too, so I know what love is. No
Yeah. I have
doubt.
a question for you regarding you referencing emotional intelligence. Um, I think no matter how much we study emotional intelligence, we always have work to do. As long as we're alive, we have more work to
Sure,
do.
sure.
And I feel like saying that statement, you can fully feel and receive that as well. And with that being said, what I've learned at least is that with all of the challenges in life, there's still some of those good things. And when you when you develop that inner fortitude, you're able to carry the goodness that was inside some really
That's right.
challenging moments.
That's right. And
So
I
go
love
ahead.
that. I love that what you said because you know the fortitude and what I bring forward is love, love of
Mhm.
self. Because love of self and love of myself is what brought me out and
Mm.
helped me travel through time. Really, it's all about love. It ain't no cliche. If you treat yourself like your best friend and make sure not to hang out with the wrong people, you would tell your best friend, hey, be careful. Those are wrong. And I had to learn and develop that instinct, you know? But
Yeah.
at the same time, life gave me so many gifts because this ups, this downs gave me many ups. As an
Right.
artist, I'm able to when I write something, when I create my songs, it's from experience. I'm not inventing anything. I know what pain is. I know what love is. I know what being betrayed means. And people might say, "Oh, but you betrayed us." I'm like, no. If you look at the equation in which I was part of, who made over $300 million, and that money was reinvested in other artists. But when you look at the gatekeepers and the artists that were in those other labels, almost the same thing happened to them that happened to me,
Right.
meaning they were used badly and then thrown. So, by design, an artist is not really going to make it through unless he is extremely resilient, learns quickly from his mistakes, and music, he will go through everything in the name of music, in the name of love.
Mhm.
And that being said, those two shields, it's like a samurai sword and then shield. I go to battle, and I go to
Yeah.
battle for love. And
Yeah.
when I deliver what I deliver musically, you will sense it. I'm a brand new artist, so people don't know what I do exactly.
Mhm.
But I had to close the circle with Girl Knows Through and Blame It on the Rain. So they're part of the movie. They're very important moments in the movie. This wonderful movie that we're going to talk about. But I'm leading now to the movie by talking about Girl Knows Through that I redid. I flipped it, changed the verses, kept the pre-chorus and the chorus. Nice
Mm.
flavor, summer flavor. Blame It on the Rain. I took it acoustic, one guitar vocal. So we
Mhm.
ain't hiding anything. It's music in
Right.
its purest form, you know. So
I
I
think
believe that when if you can do that, okay. Let's see what time does in the end. Let's see. But time is a healer, and
Mhm.
time is a great. How can I say that? it can measure someone's it can measure someone's. In the end, you look, and life is not a sprint but a marathon. So
Right. I think what's really helped preserve you as a human, and from what I've discovered and spoken with other artists in the same era as you, is that when the artist can view themselves autonomous from the business,
that's right.
that's when love is still intact. And I think you show that really beautifully. And thank you for
Thank you.
sharing that here with us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Great questions. I love it. Mo, what's
Thank
up?
We're here live with the legendary Fab Morvan, one half of the incredible Milli Vanilli, to discuss his journey, as well as Girl, You Know It's True, the movie, which we at the Los Angeles Tribune have named the movie of the year, the critically acclaimed movie of the year by us. And we hope that our community will help spread the message, spread the word, encourage folks to go watch the movie.
Yes.
You can get it on YouTube. You can get it on different streaming platforms. So go purchase the movie, watch it. And share it with your friends, because the story is a story of redemption. And I got to tell you, Fab, my favorite scene. And by the way, spoiler alert for folks that are watching live. Push pause, go watch the movie, come back and watch it. Okay, we're gonna start talking about the movie now. So the scene towards the end where you're speaking, where your character is speaking to. Speaking with Rob. That to me is like the most powerful scene in the film.
Ooh, listen, it's so funny because I was there at 2 premieres, and first I saw the final edit at home, but I was very uncomfortable because it's very close to home. So when it was time to go to Munich and to go to Berlin, I watched it with an audience, and I'm telling you what you're talking about right there. It was like a pen could drop, because those moments, those very candy moments where the audience is actually included, they can feel it. Like, you're like, whoa, it's very uncomfortable. As a matter of fact, I see people, moving in their chairs. You can see those key moments always, and they all react the same way. So I'm thinking, with time, it's gonna. And you guys, you named it the movie of the year. There's a reason why you did that, because it made you feel, and that's what art imitates life. But in this movie, not to brush my shoulder off and all that, but I got emotional. I was like, whoa! Like, I even after the movie, I hugged my character, who was sitting not far away from me, with Ilan and Tijan, and they went deep. Like, they lived together. They went, and in the end, I have to give major credit to Simon Verhoeven, and Matthias and Bella Dane, all those actors, they took on the persona of those characters, and it's done in a very subtle way. And Simon, the director, was able to piece this together with, of course, with a little bit of poetic license, but it's all true when you look at it. So it's an art piece, and I think that in film school, I think they will refer and they will study this movie, because it's powerful. And I'm so glad that I'm here. And I remember at the premiere, when they called my name to go on stage and address the audience, I ran, and I was thinking as I was running, wow, I'm so happy it happened now, because it could have happened 20 years from now, again, another 20 years. And I would be like, maybe just walking very slowly. Finally, okay, my story is being told, but I'm still strong, fresh, driven. And I'm going to take advantage of this past, because the documentary is also crazy. It's like I'm on the court, and it's like it's going to help me get my three-pointer in. I do my work, I do everything that I got to do, but it definitely is realigning the stars. And finally, people are understanding, because we're more savvy now. Now we have social media as part of our lives, and we understand how things work, how the industry works. That's why I mentioned the $300 million, and the fact that Rob and Fab were black kids from Europe with no protection. Nobody came to help us. And that press conference, my God. In a movie, they took it easy on it, but they never went too hard. You know, that we covered everything and we left the audience make up their mind. So it was not necessary to go too hard. But if you go to the press conference, the original press conference of Rob and Fab, when we gave back the Grammy, because I have to say that, we gave back the Grammy. And it's always a misconception that I have to overturn every time I can. You know, the Los Angeles Times heard that we were going to give it back. So they jumped the gun and said, oh, no, we want it back. But obviously, the criteria for a Grammy is to sing on the record. So we were not going to be like, yeah, I'm keeping that. We could have, you know, we could have. But that's
well, there are so many groups that have won Grammys with 5 members, 10 members, 3 members, and only one of the members was singing on the records, but the other guys got the Grammy, no problem. And I want to call on the Grammys to give back that Grammy because of the visual performance aspect. The visual performance aspect.
Okay, let me tell you something. If the Grammys could bring back Rob Pilatus, my brother, I would campaign behind this like crazy. Unfortunately, it's not gonna, and it's never gonna change that part. If they want to give me something, cool. But my hard work is gonna pay off, and I won't have to. I don't have to say much because the proof is in the pudding. And as an artist, you have to evolve. And I've grown and grown. Some people say it took 30 years to get to this point, and I'm like, I've been on the road. I've been touring. You just don't know. I was not on the radar. So the more you look into my character, you know, you're like, oh, okay, I didn't know. And then that's what I get on my social media. I get a lot of that, you know. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be at Fashion Week London for 4 days, September 15th. I'm launching an homage to Milli Vanilli, to the style of Milli Vanilli.
That's awesome.
So we got the shoulders and everything. So that is going to be out there too. And then we got Sony with Blame It on the Rain and Girl Knows True. So it's a puzzle. I'm lining up everything. We don't know where we're going to go.
Right.
You know, I know that I've been working. I have to take care of my family. You know, it's not about me. It's about my fam. You know, Tessa, Sasha, Solange, there is Vince. That's Fab Milli right there. And I will do everything. And I think that any father, any human being will understand that. I'm not going to say, I don't know what no means. I have no idea what that means.
Right.
That's incredible. And that's the spirit that was required for you and Rob to make it in the first place. That hustler spirit, you know, because you two are two young guys that somehow made it to the top of the pop music scene. And in some ways, Fab, I think it's interesting when we look back, if the scandal didn't happen, would Milli Vanilli be as popular as it is today? Because nobody's really talking about the lead singer of Boney M. You know what I mean? Nobody's making a movie about I think Bobby Farrell was his name. Another incredible legend, great entertainer. But my point is, in some way, it almost made Milli Vanilli bigger and more relevant in pop culture. Have you ever thought about that?
But wait a second. You know who was behind Boney M and sang the vocals of Bobby Farrell?
Frank Farian.
The producer from Milli Vanilli. So when you when you go down that rabbit hole, you're like, oh my God, that dude is an architect. He's an architect. He planned it all. And we're talking about premeditated at his best. Like in the court of law, the judge would be, now, Mr. Frank Farian, I see you a mile away. You even recorded the singers at night separate from each other. And then when they said, I know that guy, they're like, nah, don't worry about it. He separated everybody. He was not interested in getting those guys. And they find that out later. Just like me, he wanted the face. He knew we could perform. But we were working with some of these studio musicians and we're playing in town in Munich. So it was really confusing. And, you know, as a young human being and knowing that Frank Farian was so huge during this period, we came to his studio. It was like Candyland, like wow,
Mm.
platinum records on the wall, gold records on the wall, studios, like you're tasting your dream. You're like, oh my
Mm.
God, we got the right guy. And suddenly he rips it all from you. You're not allowed. But so what do? You're gonna take whatever is given to you. You're poor, you ain't got no money. You get in. So when you think you get in and you're gonna get out, that's when you go deeper into it. We thought we were just gonna do a single, but it was an album. It was an album contract. No manager, no attorney. The contract was in German. I turned to Rob. I said, "Yo, Rob, we cool?" He's like, "Money's right there. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go." You know,
Oh,
and from there, I thought it was all on and up until it wasn't. So what do?
Mm.
You know, you've been waiting for months to get into the studio, and then they rip it away from you. So you think you don't really think. As at this point, you just react and say, okay, we're gonna stay there, and then maybe we're gonna jump. And there was a time where we were about to jump on another project, and we could have worked it out. But because Frank, I don't know if he found out, whatever the reason why, he went to New York and told the world, hey, they didn't sing on the record because we were going at it. Like we wanted to sing on the next record, but in reality, we knew we couldn't because he was never going to let us sing. So we
Mm.
pushed him, thinking, okay, he's going to let us go, and that'll be it. But because he was more of a vengeful. He had his personality was kind of vengeful. So it's like, no, you'll never work in this town again.
Right. You know, there's some things in the movie Fab that I've never really heard anyone talk about as far as the Milli Vanilli story goes, but there's some insinuations in the film. For instance, there's a scene where Rob in the movie is in bed with Millie.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, but you got to kind of watch the movie very carefully to kind of connect the dots. And so I wonder, as an audience member watching that movie, well, was Frank a little bit angry with Rob, or was there tension because of the different relationships going on? We don't want to get too deep into stuff,
Right.
but I wonder, as an audience member, because it's in the movie, it's public, you know, it's publicly displayed. I'm like, maybe Frank had a little more personal reasons why he decided to pull the rug under Milli Vanilli. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, knowing his my thoughts, knowing his personality could be very possible. And I'll tell you this: in the documentary, when Millie talks, it's very confusing, and the audience is also like, "What?" It sounds like she sounds like his mother at some point, and at some other time, she sounds like that's his lover. So I don't know how to. I don't know how to. I don't know. I have no idea at this point, you know. But it's nicely weaved in there because you know I knew Rob very well. If anyone knew my dude, that's me. And possibly, maybe he did. It was we call that in French a charmeur. You know, almost like a 007. You know, so what was he going to do? So, you know, 007, don't mess around. He lays down, pillow, talk, and say, what about this? And what about that? And what about this? Like, oh, baby, of course. You know, so there were some things to that nature. And, you know, I can't give you everything, of course, you know, because there's going to be more. I definitely got to do a book. As a matter of fact, I haven't had the chance to look into a publisher, but I'm gonna have to do that at some point. You know?
Well, I think a book would be a fantastic idea, and I would love to hear about that book at some point off the air. But I just wanted to point that out because I've never heard anyone bring it up. I've seen some of the documentaries, and you know, you got to watch that movie carefully. There's some stuff in there that you got to kind of connect the dots on. You know what I mean?
And, you know, and listen. You know, Simon Vova, the director, met us when he was 16 years old in P1, the place that gave us birth, essentially, you know. And he said he will never forget that because he was like grander than life. And when I look at the movie, I'm like, wow, this dude he captured that energy. He really, really, really did. And he guided, because when I talked to the actors, you know, I said, how did you get to do that? Like, you know, it was lots of Simon guiding, but you know, the job of director is really to guide everybody, but he has such a sense and sensibility for It's like almost anticipating when you're in the editing room. Like, I know I'm gonna get that, and when I get that, I'm gonna weave it like that, and I'm gonna make you. It's like you poke at someone's soul, like emotions, and then you line up everything like like acupuncture, tack 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 tack. And in the end, you can feel, you're like, oh, what just happened right now? But because it's so subtle, so you gotta see that movie, and now you can
I
watch
agree.
it. You can rent it, you can buy it, but streaming at some point will take place. When streaming comes, dude, everybody's gonna watch it from the comfort of their own home, and they'd be like, oh, and that's when hell's gonna break loose. I know that
Absolutely,
because
absolutely. And Girl You Know It's
you
True
know,
is the official movie of the year here at the LA Tribune, and we encourage the
thank you,
distributor of the company, the producers, to start using that for your marketing,
love
because
it.
we want people to watch this movie, and it's the official movie of the year. So let the world know, and it's a timeless film, and the film does not rely on special effects; it relies on the
No,
acting skills of these
that's
two
right.
incredible actors. You can see most of most of the movie are the principal actors in a room,
Right.
at the mansion, on stage. It's absolutely incredible. We encourage folks to watch it. It's a masterclass in acting and storytelling in the art of redemption. And Parisa, I don't mean to monopolize the time. I'm going to kick it back to you, but there's a skip in the film. Obviously you can't cover the entirety of the story in one movie, but the film didn't touch on the Rob and Fab album. It didn't touch on after the press conference. Those 2 or 3 years from like 1990, 1991 to like 93, you guys were still pursuing a career as Rob and Fab. You guys were on Arsenio Hall. You guys did what you guys could do at that time. The film didn't really talk about that. I want to talk with you a little bit about that for a couple minutes, because I do think it's very fascinating. I'm curious what your experience was, because when you get that big, you don't just drop down overnight. There's still people that want to be around you. There's still record labels BSing you. You're still in Hollywood, right? They still see opportunities. Share a little bit about what that transition was like, because we see in the movie 1994, you guys are in an apartment, you're moving out. It's sort of like, the dust has settled. But 91, 92, when you guys are still trying to do your thing, what was that like? Please, Fab.
Okay, so first and foremost, when during the time of the backlash, I noticed how people would behave. Suddenly, the phone was not ringing. We used to have an entourage. We pay for food every night. We go out, but really quick, because I was getting sober, so I could see the nuances in behaviors, and I was like, okay, so he's not coming around. This person's not coming around. So I guess, okay, you're no good. You're no good. So then you start to like make a plan for yourself, and that's when I started to like strategizing, like, what it is that you want to do. Do you want to go back to France? No. So that being said, anyone that would come close to me in my life, I would always be very, very careful. I didn't trust people for a long, long time because it left a deep scar, So I didn't trust. As a matter of fact, I stayed home a lot, not to give access to people. I would go shop at night so people wouldn't see me, because I had to evade those smiles or smirks, because you don't know. There's a difference between a smile and a smirk, you know. And my scars were very fresh, and it was very, very emotional. And to be this the scapegoat and the joke, because I felt like, there was the planet, Robin Fab with those two kids, and we were being bullied, but the planet was a playground. So it was. I give you an example. I was doing a radio interview, try to get into like letting people know what happened, and the DJ goes, "Oh wow!" Looks up to the window and say, "I think I just saw Rob jump out the window." I'm like, mind you, I'm in the room. I was brought into the interview so that I thought I was on holy ground, but there was no holy ground. So that has taught me, because I worked in radio at Kiss FM Los Angeles, before, after Rick Dees, and then Simon Seacrest. Seacrest came on board and he was there too. So Rick Dees gave me some pointers about how you handle radio, and these pointers really helped me later on in my career, especially talking to radio. And it was rough, you know. I talked to classic rock station, like all kinds of format, and at some point, I was able to do verbal kung fu. What I mean by that is that when the audience was listening, at the end, the host or whatever, whoever they were, said, "Wow, I sound like an ass." And I was like, "I didn't say it. You know, like, why do I have to be treated this way? Some people have done way worse, but for some reason, the narrative that was written was just like, oh, those guys, like, wow, they did something really bad." And when you look at history, and now you look at now, it's like, wow, you know. So they say, you know, they throw, you know, when you're, uh, when you're, how do you say that? When you're ahead of the curve, you know, you will get those arrows in your back. Maybe that's some of that, you know. I don't know, but it turned me into who I am today. And without this experience, I wouldn't be the father that I am. I wouldn't be the human being that I am. You know, it gave me a lot of gifts, and it's a gift that keeps on giving as well.
Wow. I'd love to end on that. And I actually do have I do have a question for you. It's going to hit on a few
Okay.
things.
All right.
So I feel like the truth, not necessarily the story, but the truth of the Vanilli journey itself has not been really widely heard, received, not
No.
really widely understood yet. Yet is
No.
the key word there.
Yes.
And I feel that with this film, it really it acknowledged the current narrative that most know of the journey, which is this illusion, this falsity, this, you know, they don't know necessarily the manipulative elements that were heavily embedded in all of it.
That's right. Very important part of the equation. Very important.
Yes. And I feel that just like I had mentioned a little bit ago, like with the emotional intelligence and that inner fortitude, really developing that, it's that you don't just throw away all of the experiences that had any kind of harm or challenge or pain associated with them.
True.
You accept, you acknowledge, and you take the good. And I feel like this film really acknowledges that old narrative. And in the acknowledgement, it creates so much spaciousness for the
Yes.
truth to really be heard and land and
Yes.
have residence next to the old narrative.
Yes.
Because the old narrative
You.
is still, it's still relevant, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah. It
and
is.
there's no, I'd like to say, like, there's no it's not a bad thing because it brought a
No.
lot of beauty forward, and it allows a
That,
lot of truth to be told now, right?
yeah. Yeah. And that's what, you know. You know, I heard someone say, "Oh, Milli Vanilli, guilty pleasure," for a long time. It was a guilty pleasure. People would listen to it behind doors. But we can't forget the effect, the worldwide effect that we had. You know, it's like when you look at the silhouette of an artist, whether it's Michael, whether you look at Marilyn Monroe, Elvis Presley, James Dean, whoever, Bob Marley, you recognize. And we were able to get that recognition that, you know, forget the singing. It's the impact we have on people. When people think about Milli Vanilli, say, listen, some people say, "Oh, my daughter was born because of the music. You know, that music brought me so much love. My kids now know the song." So now I'm talking. We've crossed generations, and now we get the young generation. I get kids who work on explaining what happened. You know, because they saw the movie, so they do an expose in school. You know, so we are spilling over in different part of society, and I think it's a relevant story because of the fact that those kids were used. The industry, and that's what it does. It takes you by design. It will use you, and then you no longer need it. So goodbye.
Mhm.
You know, and that hasn't changed. And year after year, we hear some of those skeletons come out of the closet, like, "Oh my God, I didn't know." So I say that to finish. The truth always takes the stairs, while the lies take the elevator. That's it. So everything comes out, you know, and people will know what I'm made of. The time will tell. Life
Right.
is not a sprint; it's a marathon. So That being said, let's go.
Let's go. Let's
Let's
go. That's
go.
so good.
You know,
Yeah.
and I have to say, Atlas,
Mhm.
we cannot forget, and people don't know the numbers, but the industry made over $300 million.
Yes.
Where did that money go? I didn't get any of that. That's
Right.
another part of the story.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh
that
yeah.
and that was reinvested into other projects. So I'll leave it at that, and you can go do your research, because we don't have time to go dive in deeper who, what, how. But trust
Yeah.
me, the layers like archaeology. I feel like an archaeologist telling my own story. And oh yeah, you see this layer right here in 1989 in June.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
I
but we're
think
gonna
it's
keep going. We'll keep it positive. That's it. That's it.
yeah. And I think the positivity piece is really, really key here, is that through this film, through your willingness to go on your own personal journey, to be able
Yeah.
to then bring this film and the truth of the story within the film forward, is that you've really learned the authority and the authenticity of your own voice, even though
Yeah.
you went through all of that manipulative, really challenging, crazy journey that no one should go through. But you've learned that authority and that authenticity, and you being able to share that shows that you don't have to, you can experience these things that are embarrassing globally,
That's right.
and being shamed globally, but you can still come forward with energy, with life, with zest, and it can still be coming from a place of love.
And a sense of humor. You got to have
Yes.
that. And I did a commercial long ago, and at the end of the commercial, I was asked a question, and my answer was like, what do you want to be known as in the end? I said, well, an icon of real.
Mm.
That's it.
Incredible. And Fab, we want to be respectful of your time, so we're gonna wrap up here because we
was a
know
pleasure.
you're very busy.
Yeah, questions, it's all about the questions. When you do research
Absolutely.
and you ask us questions, we can dive deeper. It makes it much better and more interesting for the viewer, listener, like, oh wow. So I'm always interested when I talk to journalists. I know they've done their research and they can't wait to talk to me and be like, okay, I need to go there, I need to go here. So I try to
Well,
go as
your
quick as
story
I
has
can.
so many layers, Fab, that we could spend 3 or 4 hours, and every moment will be captivating, because so few people on planet Earth
True.
achieved that level of notoriety that quickly and had that much backlash. I don't know if there's any other human being on planet Earth that can really relate to your story. 1989, you were the biggest pop star on the planet. 1991, you didn't even want to go to a grocery store.
That's right.
How incredible of a story is that?
I
You
still,
know?
when I look back, I'm like, oh man, I'm still here. But I think that mental health and physical health played a very, very important role.
Yes,
when you see what
absolutely.
happened to Rob, it was like he wasn't able to grasp it. And when I was able to grasp that part, I was like, okay, in order to go back that mountain, I'm gonna have to address and really look into everything. So me being the student that I am and used to love to go to the library, I still had that reflex, reading and all that. So self-improvement. So, I think that's what saved me, and my love for music, really. If I didn't have the love for music and wanting to live that dream fully, I wouldn't be here today. So thank to music. Music is life. Life is music, and saved my life. I really believe that.
And Fab, here at the LA Tribune, we're very big on mental health, and we would love to re-invite you back. In fact, we have a conference here next month with Jim Quick, one of the world's top neuroscientists.
Wow.
And your story
Wow.
can help so many people that have dealt with bullying. Your story can help with so many people that have dealt with the ups and downs of life. And so we would love to re-invite you to speak at some of our virtual conferences that we do for the public.
That'd be awesome. As a matter of fact, I want to give some tools to people out there. There's a website called fabmilli.com, FABMILLY. And there I shared those 14 tools that I didn't realize that I was using unconsciously. But when I sat down, when Tessa, my partner, she said, hey, someone wants you to do, because she's a health coach, and said someone wants you to do a presentation. I said, okay, cool. But when I started to analyze how I was behaving and how I moved, I was like, oh, there's a system here. So when COVID came around, I started, creating this whole thing. So go check out fabmilli.com, and I gave you a lot of stuff that you can work with and play with, and people are now just like, hey, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And sharing is caring. So if I can change someone's life, that's great. It puts me in a different building. All in all.
Fabmilli.com, ladies and gentlemen. Parisa, we have to reinvite Fab back. This conversation, it's like an appetizer. You know what I mean? We need to have a part 2. So I'm going to see if
yes,
I'm going to see if we can do that. But just to wrap up, I want to encourage everyone in the audience to watch the movie
right.
Girl, You Know It's True, to check it out, to share it with your friends, post on social media, let everybody know it's the movie of the year. And the reason that we as an organization are stamping it, watch the movie. I had somebody text me and say, out of all the movies, why is Girl, You Know It's True the movie of the year? Watch the movie. Talk to me after you watch the movie. Don't ask me that question before you watch the movie. Go watch the movie and then contact me, and then we can talk about it. Because when you see the movie, you'll understand. And Fab, I would love for you to help us get connected with some of the cast and crew, because we want to do another show about the movie.
Yeah.
So
I can get that going, like no problem, ASAP. We'll talk to Tessa and she'll hook that up.
Beautiful, thank you. And just in closing, yes.
In closing, there's a small piece or even a big piece that doesn't look like much, but the fact that I re-recorded Girl Knows True, flipped it, and record Blame It on the Rain. If the dude couldn't do it, man, you can't do it like that. And
I heard both of them. And I love the acoustic Blame It on the Rain. I think that the acoustic version of Blame It on the Rain that you did is beautiful. I want people to go check out Fab Morvan, Blame It on the Rain, the acoustic. It's fantastic. And I know that Sony Europe is involved in that. So you have some heavy hitters involved.
We're in for the long run, and Girl Knows True as well. So go to my Spotify, Fab Morvan, go check it out. That's it.
Go check it out, folks.
You be the judge. You be the judge.
Yeah. Let us know if you think Fab can sing or not. Go listen to Blame It on the Rain, and then let us know what's up. And so Fab, absolutely. So Fab, thank you so much. This has been an appetizer. We need to continue the conversation, and I just want to share with our community here again. October, we have Jim Quick for a virtual neuroscience symposium where we talk about mental health. I'm going to invite Fab Morvan behind the scenes. We'll see if his schedule will comply, but we'll do our part and send the invites, and the rest is up to the universe.
Let's unpack everything that I've learned, because I've learned so much. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't about learning and growing. I wouldn't be here today.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, go check out Girl, You Know It's True, the #1 movie of the year. And this has been an exclusive presentation here on the Los Angeles Tribune. I want to thank Fab Morvan. I want to thank the folks that helped make this happen. And go check out Girl, You Know It's True.
It's true.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you. Until next episode.
Welcome to the Los Angeles Tribune page. Here you will find original news programming, exclusive digital events, and shows that are directly from the community. At the Los Angeles Tribune, we believe in giving a voice to the voiceless. We are proud to be the only national brand to empower everyday people to make a difference. Since 1886, our reputation has been built on truth and responsibility. Thank you for watching and making a difference.
For general inquiries, contact today. Thank you on behalf of the Los Angeles Tribune team.